A Coronation Street favorite has hinted that the Webster family may be heading for yet another jaw-dropping revelation following the recent Carl and Debbie storyline shock. Veteran actor Michael Lovell has spoken out after the soap finally confirmed a long-suspected fan theory. Debbie is actually Carl's real mother, not his sister, as he was led to believe. Viewers discovered the truth during a quiet but powerful moment when Debbie was seen examining a baby's hospital wristband hidden among her keepsakes. Meanwhile, Carl continues to believe that Elaine is his mom and remains completely unaware of the life-changing secret. Speaking exclusively to Inside Soap, Michael, who plays Kevin Webster, Debbie's brother, shared his reaction to the storyline and teased the possibility of another twist, this time involving Carl's father. "We all thought that's a brilliant twist," he said. After that, everyone started speculating about who the dad could be. "Terry Duckworth is one option, or it could even be Brian Tilsley," he added. "It fits the timeline, but just imagine that outcome. It would be amazing if the Platts and the Websters ended up connected in some way." Kevin has been left emotionally shaken following Obi's affair with Carl, which ultimately destroyed their marriage. Michael admitted that the breakup was difficult for him to watch unfold. "I was really disappointed," he confessed. "But at the same time, it's created a strong storyline. Bringing Carl and Debbie into it has been fantastic because, without this plot, we wouldn't have shared so many scenes. In that sense, it's been a hidden bonus." Hopefully, the writers will realize that Kevin and Abi are actually a great match and belong together. However, even if Kevin and Abi never find their way back to each other, Michael is firm about one reunion he definitely doesn't want to see on screen. He explained, "Of course, I'd love Kevin and Abi to reunite, but someone recently suggested Kevin getting back with Sally, and I instantly said, no way. It's not because I don't adore Sally Dynevor. I absolutely do," he continued. "It's because Sally and Tim are such a strong couple. They work beautifully together, and it would be a real shame to break them up." Coronation Street viewers have taken to social media with a heartfelt request to show bosses after watching Lisa Swain and Carla Connor finally find their way back to each other following months of heartbreak. Fans have waited a long time for the reunion of the couple affectionately nicknamed Swarla. After their romance was ripped apart by the shocking return of Lisa's former wife, Becky Swain, who is believed to have died while on duty, Becky resurfaced last September on a deeply emotional day, her daughter Beth's 18th birthday, just days after Lisa proposed to Carla, and the pair became engaged. From the outset, it was clear Becky was determined to destroy Lisa's new life and reunite her family 4 years after staging her own death. Her plan quickly began to work, leading to Lisa and Carla's split as Becky attempted to flee with Lisa and Betsy. In a desperate attempt to get her own way, Becky abducted Carla and manipulated Lisa into agreeing to start a new life overseas with their daughter. However, her scheme unraveled when the truth about her fake death finally came to light. DC Kit Green, who had been working alongside Carla to expose Becky's plot, managed to track down the underworld boss. Together, the unlikely pair were able to stop Becky, although not before she was involved in a devastating car crash while heading to Hull to catch a ferry bound for Rotterdam. Lisa and Betsy both survived the terrifying ordeal, as did Becky. However, Becky's fate took a grim turn when Lisa, despite receiving medical treatment at the scene, placed her under arrest. Viewers later watched as Becky was sentenced to 12 years in prison for her crimes. Even with Becky behind bars, Lisa and Carla didn't immediately reunite. Although Lisa repeatedly apologized and tried to make amends, Carla struggled to forgive her, hurt by the fact that her fears about Becky had been ignored and devastated to learn that Lisa had slept with her ex during the time she was missing. That all shifted this week following an emotional turning point. After one of Lisa's alcohol-fueled outbursts, Carla began to soften. And during Thursday's episode, January 22nd, she was seen helping Lisa recover from her hangover before finally admitting she still loved her. While Carla made it clear that rebuilding their relationship would take time and that they needed to move carefully, the couple shared a passionate kiss before heading upstairs together. Carla's resolve to slow things down didn't last long, though. Later at the Rovers, she proudly announced to the underworld workforce that she and Lisa were officially back together and ordered 2 bottles of champagne to mark the occasion. Coronation Street has confirmed that Maggie Driscoll is preparing to unleash another wave of chaos as she targets a new person and ignites yet more tension on the cobbles next week. Maggie once again shows that her promises of reform were short-lived as she soon finds herself at the center of another heated dispute. The fiery Driscoll matriarch had recently pledged to rein in her meddling ways after learning that her son Ben was struggling with serious heart problems which doctors warned may have been aggravated by emotional strain. Despite her best intentions, it quickly becomes clear that Maggie's calmer approach was never going to stick. In scenes set to air soon, Maggie continues to quietly stew over Leanne Battersby's bold move to buy her out of the Rover's return. Adding fuel to the fire, Maggie is painfully aware that Leanne was secretly working alongside her sister Eva Price, who is determined to reclaim control of the pub and push Maggie out altogether. When Aaliyah Nazir pays a casual visit to the Rovers, Maggie wastes no time in planting a seed of doubt by suddenly mentioning Leanne's offer. She clearly takes satisfaction in the moment Alia's confusion becomes apparent, realizing she had no idea about Leanne's hidden plans. Leanne and Alia are business partners at Speed Doll right now. A Coronation Street insider explains, from Alia's perspective, the partnership has been stable and positive, especially after they worked through a few early challenges. The source continues, so, finding out that Leanne was considering a completely different future is a massive shock. Alia could easily have been left running the restaurant alone with no warning and no support. Alia is left simmering with anger as the reality sinks in that Leanne was willing to abandon Speed Doll altogether in order to chase a new opportunity at the Rovers. It now seems inevitable that Alia will confront Leanne about the situation. But the big question remains whether this revelation will cause lasting damage to their professional and personal relationship. Leanne and Alia have a deep history that goes back years. The insider adds Leanne was once in a serious relationship with Alia's late father, Cal, so any sense of betrayal would feel incredibly personal and painful. At the same time, Leanne is trapped between competing loyalties. The source explains her bond with Eva makes the situation even more complicated, particularly as Eva was desperate to regain some control at the pub, forcing Leanne into an impossible decision. Maggie's latest act of troublemaking suggests that the Rovers could soon become a battleground once again with further fallout all but guaranteed. For now, Maggie is attempting to keep herself in check, at least on the surface, after Ben warned her that the constant family arguments were pushing his health to breaking point. Maggie has been biting her tongue every time she feels the urge to lash out at Eva, the insider reveals. But her conversation with Alia proves she's still harboring deep resentment towards both Eva and Leanne. With Maggie involved, peace is never permanent. The source concludes she's a ticking time bomb, and it's only a matter of time before she explodes and takes everyone down with her. Coronation Street airs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.